Hey, good morning, guys. Well, we're kind of towards the end of the battle. We're going into turn 12 out of 15 here, but I have to leave for the day, so this is going to be all we're getting done for the weekend. You know, it looks fairly much wrapped up anyhow. Let me show you what's going on. And to cut to the chase, I think the Russians are going to win it. Look at this. We're in the city, and the Russians, these are their trucks parked here. All of these red stars are units that they've occupied, and then they still have some troops. There's a tank here, there's some ground units here, there's some ground units there. They only need to hold 6 of these for 3 more turns. And it looks like they're going to, because if I start kind of coming down the battlefield for you, this is all that's left of the Germans. They got beat up really badly, and I'll tell you why here in a second. This guy's been the star of the game. This Panther has absorbed all kinds of fire, and he's just been sitting here in the woods, picking off a variety of Russians coming down this road. Everyone that was over here, let's come out that way. These 2 Russian tanks, T-34s, have been for 3 turns at least shooting into this guy's armor. And just at this range with the front angle, they really just can't penetrate. They're not strong enough to do it. Look at all of these tanks that have been destroyed up here. Blown up, knocked out, blown up, knocked out, knocked out. And really what was decisive was the Germans a couple turns ago put a ton of smoke up in here. And here's what happened. Let me back up. The Russian tanks that's come in through the north came down here and just started chewing through the German infantry. So problem number 1 was the Germans got caught up here without support. I sent their infantry up. The Russians, remember the Russians were pinned down here, their infantry. They scrambled over and safely made it into the city, miraculously. That meant that they could start claiming these objectives. So I had the German infantry come up to counter that, and they were getting ready, you know, they were kind of squaring off a little bit. But in the meantime, these 2 T-34 tanks came down here and just started chewing through the Germans. There was a ton of German tanks down here that were conducting fire, counterfire. And so what they did was we scheduled an order for some of these tanks to start running through and protecting the infantry up here. There's 4 tanks, in fact, 3 of them. These two, there's 2 knocked out in this square, and that's 1. And what they did was they set up a huge barrage of smoke screen off of the hill. These guys all just smoked this out so that anyone firing at this angle would be at a severe penalty. They got off, you know, frankly, some very lucky shots, statistically improbable shots, and just blew out some tanks over the course of a couple turns. So that left these guys really ungunned down here. They've lost. The T-34s have taken their licks up here, but they're still around. There's 2 here. Here's what would happen next turn. Just to kind of get something decisive going, this, what is this? A Panzer IV is coming up on the hill, and they're going to fire down here. Because the problem that the Russians or the Germans face is they have to get into the city in the next 3 turns, but they have to eliminate these 2 T-34s before they can really safely do it, because otherwise the same fate that these guys suffered, everyone will realize as soon as you come up the road and you present your rear flank, these guys will take a shot, and you're in the weakest part of your armor, and it's doing damage. So he's coming up the hill foolhardily or bravely, however you want to look at it, and is going to have a point-blank shot here from higher elevation. He should take one of these out. Problem was they lost initiative this turn. The Germans did. So if I was to play this turn out, these 2 guys would both fire on him first if I had given them fire orders. But so that's what's happening there. That's not looking good. And then this guy, if the T-34s are eliminated, this guy can get up into the city in the next couple turns, but it might be too little too late. This Panther had turned around and was protecting his flank kind of successfully against these Russians coming through here for this firefight, because it's the same deal. At a certain range, presenting his the Panthers' front, the T-34s just can't really do damage. But two things have happened. One, that crippled where's he at? That crippled SU-100 tank hunter, he's finally swung around. So in the next turn or two, these guys are going to have a decisive face-off. And this SU-100 has plenty of gun to take care of that Panther. And then down here, this T-34 is all that's remaining of his unit of 3 from way over here in the woods. But he's now come through, he's circling around. Now this turn, he has a pretty decent shot all the way across into this Panther's rear. So whereas these T-34s can't damage him from the front because they can't penetrate his armor, now they've got a crossfire scenario where this guy's going to be able to pick him off. So, and again, the Russians won initiative, so if he has a fire order, which he would have, he will fire first and see if he damaged or destroys his Panther. If not, I think the Panther, because it's getting so late in the game, he's just going to have to, this turn, he would just bomb into the city and start wreaking havoc there. And let's see, yeah, that's about the long and short of it. You can see if you look through, all of these white markers are either brewed up or KO'd. So this was a pretty hectic battle. Tank destroyed, tank hunters destroyed, tank, 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 and then a number of casualties here in the city. So I think what's happened is a little bit of mismanagement by sending the infantry, German infantry, in unsupported. That probably happened a few turns too soon. I should have waited to neutralize these T-34 threats and then have everyone advance as a column. So that's mistake number one. And then this to try and do damage control on this, shooting up this tank line to try and protect the infantry, and these guys were able to get their positive shots off. We did everything we could to mitigate against that with the smoke and the angle of fire, but they just had some incredible shots and it took its toll. And now, even though you have these Panthers, 2 Panthers left that are going to be very difficult to, maybe difficult to pin out or to take out, although now we have these rear shots coming up. But the question is, these guys only have 3 more turns to get in here and claim at least, what are we at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Germans have that one. 6, 7, 8. The Russians have 8. So in 3 turns, even to get a draw, the Germans somehow have to capture 2 of those spaces. So figure 2 turns to get up here, maybe 1 turn to get up here, that's 14. I just don't think they have enough time now to do it. Okay, that's it. I'm out of here, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Hope you had a great weekend. Bye.